want to make sure that they get the amount of time that they need to get the most out of this meeting. I expect, based upon the weather, that we're going to get a continual trickle of other folks in as they roll off of 147. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, go ahead and get your cup of coffee. Also, we're going to skip community announcements this week, so if you have something that you want to tell the community, please go ahead at this time and write it on the whiteboard so that we can all have that information. So, did everybody have a great week? Everybody survived Valentine's Day unscathed? Yeah, good, good. Well, this week we've got two presenters, and I'm really excited to hear from both of them. First, we have Peter Hollender from MicroElastic and Matt Starr from Synthesis, and we're going to hear from them in just a moment. But first, I'd like to thank our community organizers, Krista Johnson-Sotomayor, Trish Tony Holden, Nancy McCreary, Terry Conlon, Jim Roberts, who's still in Wilmington, I assume, William Clote on the video camera, Brenna Romaya, David Bates, Tracy Imes, who has again graced us with her presence, thank you, and George Stewart and myself. Sponsors of 1 Million Cups RTP. We have Monday Dog Coffee. Thank you, Jim, for making sure the coffee is here on time and hot. It is awesome. NC Idea, Imperative Product Operations, GTI, Broad Reach Marketing, Samadhi Solutions, American Underground, Soto IP, Uplift Now, and New York Life. I will say before we get started, one thing, if you are parking in the garage over here for 2 hours of free parking, based upon something that happened last week, make sure you print out your ticket as opposed to just not printing the ticket. Last week, one of our members got his vehicle booted because he put CA for a California plate in front of the plate number, and because they booted him and it took him an extra half hour to get out of here. So if you don't want that to happen to you, or you don't want to have to pay the fine, make sure you have your ticket with you, okay? So with that being said, we're going to get right into the presentations. We have Peter Hollender of MicroElastic going first, and Peter wanted to let us know that he and his company are former tenants of American Underground here for about a year and a half before moving on to bigger space for themselves. So, Peter, take it away.
Great, thank you. So I'm Peter Hollender. I'm the founder of MicroElastic. I've been in this research field for 11 years, and I'm excited to share with you all today Bullseye Instant Skin Analysis, our solution for deeper insights into skin health without scalpels. So first, a little what we're sort of looking for from this 1 Million Cups presentation. We're presenting a talk at CEE next month, and so we're kind of looking, as well as putting together a seed round, and we're looking for feedback on the narrative that we're presenting. And then we're also looking for connections in the anti-aging and aesthetics skincare space, which we've made some, but we're always looking for more. And we are seeking lead investor on our seed round. So everybody's skin tells a story, and it's the story of the life that's been lived in it. And the cumulative effect of all of the sun-filled summers and dry, cold winters is that as we age, our skin thins, loses elasticity, and begins to sag. Fortunately, science and medicine have given us a spectrum of powerful tools with which we can or restore firm, healthy skin. They come at a range of price points, a range of degrees of invasiveness, and a range of magnitude of the effect. But it's challenging to decide when you're going to go for which type of anti-aging therapy. Are you going to move from topical creams to non-invasive procedures, to injectables, or to cosmetic surgery? because you can't really do trial and error with your own aging skin. And as a result, if we want to take control of the narrative that is our skin story, we need to understand our skin more deeply. So a little bit more specifically, the problem is skin is a layered structure. And what you can see with your eyes is only the outermost layer. Below that outermost layer, the epidermis, is the dermis, the network of collagen and elastic fibers that gives skin its structure and strength. But if you want to evaluate what's going on in the functional part of your skin, we're sort of limited for options. And there's a number of conditions of the dermis that will lead to eventual appearance of the surface and symptomatic changes. But even if you go to the dermatologist, they can't see your dermis. The main tool dermatologists use is a dermatoscope. It's a magnifying glass with LEDs on it so they can take a close look at the surface. Can't see beneath. If they want to evaluate the skin structure, kind of the best they have is a manual pinch and score method, which is inherently subjective, imprecise, difficult to compare between doctors, and difficult to track over time. Which is why when it's medically necessary, we still have to cut out chunks of the skin, remove a section, and send it to pathology. So what MicroElastic has created is Bullseye, our solution for non-invasive characterization of the dermis. So we use a patented ultrasound method that at the touch of a button, we instantly measure skin thickness and elasticity. These data are sent to our software program, where we automatically generate maps and reports to identify abnormalities and allow us to track changes over time. These data allow for the development of personalized treatment plans, whether it's identifying the status of your skin, choosing the right therapy for an individual's skin, measuring the response to a therapy, or adapting over time. We believe that this platform technology can contribute value to a number of stakeholders across the skin health space. For a total available market of $4 billion. For reference, the total anti-aging market globally is $250 billion. So we're starting by targeting aesthetics practices. These are the people performing non-invasive therapies on patients to tighten their skin, but they have no way of measuring what the state of the skin was before or after. There's 16 million of those procedures, and we think that's a $164 million RTP. Similarly, med spas are a massively growing sector, also performing a lot of non-invasive therapies, microdermabrasion, RF microneedling, as well as providing a point of sale for topical applications. As we look further into the future, and as we try to move out from operation by specialists to less trained operation, we see a future in retail skincare helping do skin assessments of potential customers for skincare products. This is already going on with other types of skin diagnostics at retailers. And finally, the sort of long-term goal would be to get into customers' homes so that people can monitor their own skin and really take control of their own aging. And another, it's actually important to note that when I say dermatologists, yep.
1 minute.
On
presentation.
Oh, that was fast. Yeah, it's important to note that our funding came from National Cancer Institute, and we did develop this tool originally for dermatologists evaluating diseased skin conditions. And we see this as a strategic beachhead opportunity to treat these patients with this deadly complication of cancer therapy. And we have clinical trials starting up right now and a bunch of promising early clinical data. So the team was founded by 2 doctors and professors at Duke and myself. I've built out MicroElastic support team of 3 employees. They've remained engaged collaborators. We surrounded ourselves with experienced advisors who've been through this before, fractional operational support, and a bunch of contract engineering firepower. Our likely exit is through acquisition from a number of potential acquirers, and the drive towards technology in the skincare space makes us think that this is the right time to be making this technology. We are raising a $2.1 million round to get us to 510K clearance, which we see as our next value inflection point. That'll allow us to both get into the aesthetics use with early adopters, as well as address the clinical application with an eventual path towards reimbursement. We have also built a strategic partnership in the aesthetics skincare space, where we've done one funded study, and we're looking to develop that partnership as well as additional partnerships, which may independently lead to exit opportunities. We should also note that it is, as a platform technology, this can lead to other applications in dermatology as well as other organs. So thank you for your time. I'll leave you with this quote from the chair of Duke Dermatology, who is as excited as we are about the transformative potential of this technology. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's start questions. Who's got one? Yes, sir.
How does this differ from the good old-fashioned ultrasound that people use for checking on the fetuses?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. So what we're doing is not ultrasound imaging, and there are ultrasound imaging devices that are used in dermatology, but they do not measure the elasticity of the skin. They can only measure thickness. So what we do is we have some parts of an ultrasound scanner, but without the majority of the ultrasound scanner, which is what makes them cost $100,000. So we throw away that. We keep parts that let us do our novel method, or instead of making pictures, we're making measurements of the elasticity of the dermis. So it's a different method. It uses ultrasound, but it's not imaging per se.
Hi, nice presentation. Thanks. I'm Jim. Quick question. I had a cousin pass away, unfortunately, a few weeks ago, and he had donated his organs. And it was surprising to me that organs include skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, does this have any application in kind of the placement of skin? I don't know, like skin recipients. I don't know whether anybody's skin swaps with anybody's or.
Yes, but like skin grafts.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if there's any applicability here for organ transplantation.
Yeah, so the type of transplantation that we are already working with is in stem cell transplantation, and so it's a complication from the incompatibility of transplanted immune systems. But from talking to the dermatologists at Duke that we're working with and their colleagues, there's actually a lot of other applications in dermatology, whether it's looking at transplant rejection, radiation dermatitis, scar formation and reduction. They're kind of in the research stage, so part of our goal is to get a product approved so that we can give those researchers the tools to go to those, but potentially, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Carol. Great presentation. I'm saying what you're doing with the FDA. I saw a bunch of your competitors. Have you communicated with them and all that stuff? Because some of the some of the research are doing the same thing, and there's some which have already been approved, similar to yours. For the solar and all that stuff. You know,
So we have talked to the FDA. We haven't done our pre-sub yet. There are some alternative approaches, not using this ultrasound method, that apply suction or compression to the surface of the skin and try to measure the deformation. But our understanding from the dermatologist was like, those things are terrible. They don't work. You're trying to measure the dermis, but if you press, you get the layers above it and the layers below it all compressing together, and it's actually quite inaccurate.
What I saw, there's one in NYU, similar to yours, which is in progress and all that stuff. I saw one, it's almost the same thing. It's almost on the second stage or something like that. I went to the research, FDA research, and I saw one of your research and all that stuff. And there's some places already using it in Germany and UK and all that stuff.
For the skin?
Yes, it's already there. I'll share with you.
Okay, show me.
Yes.
As sort of a follow-up to the previous question, what regulatory barriers does the company face, and what's the time horizon on that with respect to FDA approval?
Yeah. So we think it's a class 2 510K, and we are in the process of converting our prototype proof of concept development into regulated product development. So we're beginning our design controls process, and our plan is to submit our 510K in a little over a year.
Can I follow up on my original question? As to how it's different for regular ultrasound, you said, well, it's cheaper. You don't use some of the, and also that it does more because how, what you do is new.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I continually pulled out the technology parts from these pitches. Yeah, so what we're doing with ultrasound is that in conventional pulse echo ultrasound that you would use to make an image, you would just do little transmissions and you sort of walk them across an image, and then you look at what are the echoes that
Who was the target for this? I mean, I know you mentioned you pulled out some technical.
Yeah.
Is this for investors?
Yeah, so this is for both investors and potential strategic partners who are working in the aesthetics and anti-aging space. So this is the company products, for ways to market their products, or that are interested in engaging with their customers. And so what we're trying to present at the beginning is more appealing